Hi guys, so this is actually going to be a bit of an unboxing and a review, not something I normally do, I have to admit, and unboxing is a very rare thing from my point of view. Basically what I have here is I have the FY G3 Gimbal inside this package, hopefully, and I just wanted to do a quick review of this because it seems that this is a very new gimbal. I came about it completely by accident on Unmanned Tech website. I've literally just finished pretty much building this beastie in front of me. This is the F450 frame. I've got the Zenmuse gimbal attached to the front of it there. As you can see, I've done some custom modernisation. I've got two power boards, which means I've been able to space it out. I've kind of layered it in a way, all available on the blog. I've also done some DIY retracts that go up and down on the carbon fibre legs, etc. Anyway, not a video about that. The point is, however, that the Zenmuse gimbal, fantastic piece of kit. The only reason I got it was because it was the DJI deal, whereby you get the gimbal, you get the F450 almost ready to fly kit, which comes with all the motors, all the ESCs, etc. And the kit also has the NASA V2, which comes with the PMU, etc. Basically, you get everything you need to build what I have in front of me right here, apart from the legs and the retracts. You get the GPS module, everything, and you get that for less than £100 more than the gimbal on its own. £450 in my view for this gimbal is a lot of money to pay. I really wasn't intending to buy the Zenmuse for a number of reasons. Number one, the cost was the main factor. Number two was actually that I quite like the idea of having a gimbal that I would be able to use off the device. This actually has a direct link into the IMU of the NASA, as far as I understand, which means it can't work without a NASA. That means if you wanted to make yourself a nice little handheld rig for some steady shots, you'd have to use the NASA. It's going to get very complicated, lots of wires, and ultimately the last thing you want to be doing is carting a NASA around with you just to get some nice shots on the gimbal. So I knew I wanted to get a second gimbal at some point because I've got this and I've also got my Phantom, which is also now available to have this Zenmuse already fitted. Phantom is a nice portable device. I've got a carrying case for it, everything like that. As you can see, this is a little bit tall, a little bit cumbersome. It's going to be shortened very soon because that's sitting a little bit high, but anyway. And basically I wanted a gimbal that was of a reasonable price range, that could do what I needed, could work off it. I discovered Unmanned Tech, so let me just get into this. Okay. Right, and lo and behold, hopefully, yep, there we go. Right, so nice little packaging. Like I say, unboxing is not something I normally do, but rude not to, seeing as I'm here. I'm obviously using a head cam at the moment, which is the GoPro, so we'll have to take that off to actually do some testing. Now this was £138, including VAT, from Unmanned Tech website. Now for a gimbal of any sort, that is low in price. For example, I was before I was actually buying the Zenmuse, I was looking at the Aero X Craft. I think that is still pound for pound one of the best gimbals as far as I can see in the UK, for a number of reasons. Number one, it's UK based, it's UK engineered, and there's UK support, which, given firmware problems that even the NASA, the Zenmuse has had, you know, and the Aris, for example, having a bit of support is going to be something that's going to be quite good. That's around the £260–270 mark still, if you buy that from either quadcopters, or if you buy that from Aero X Craft themselves. It's also a little bit weighty, but it would be possible to use it off the actual device. The reason this actually caught my eye is because, number one, the test videos that they've seen, and I'll put some links to it, they absolutely abuse this thing. And as far as I can see, it's going to have some nice beefy motors on it, if I can get into it. Okay, let's see what we've got. So we've got a top board, and a lower board, and hopefully I will then be able to demonstrate what I'm talking about. For £138, this packaging is better than I thought it would be, as I have seen on some of the other videos. Like I say, I think I'm probably one of the first in the UK to be reviewing this. I've seen a couple of others. I've seen a review in America. Okay, so this is the gimbal itself. You've got the IMU on the back of it. All aluminium, beefy motors, and one of the main selling points to me as soon as I saw this was the abuse that people were giving these things in their test videos. There's a Malaysian, I think, video where the guy beats the bejesus out of this thing and it keeps on ticking. The reason that appeals to me, number one, the Phantom and the F450 that I've actually created a Shapeways rig that allows me to see the LED output from the Phantom, or in fact the F450. It sends via fibre optic cable to a little ring that is attached to the front of the GoPro. Problem is with using the Zenmuse is they state specifically do not misbalance it, do not add any weight, anything like that. This particular gimbal, this FY G3, in the videos from the manufacturers, they load it up with plasticine, and I mean like half a kilogram of it looks like, on one side of it, and it still stays in balance. So as far as I'm concerned, if it can live up to its name from that point of view, then it's going to be doing very well in my book. Anyway, so there are the motors, there's a gimbal, then we've got the frame, no doubt we've got the wiring, that's the end of that little box there. And I would imagine there are going to be the mounts present in here. Not the easiest box to get stuff out of, to be fair, as nice as it is. In fact, let's pull that out of there. There. Come on. Okay. Interesting, the warranty card's all in English. Whether it's in Chinese English is another matter. And it's a bracket for holding on the GoPro. This little cable here, I believe, at the moment, as far as I can tell, like I say, there's not a lot of literature online as far as I could find about this. There isn't any upgrades for the firmware as yet. However, they do bundle a cable, which will allow you to actually potentially do some upgrades in the future. Where the hell you get them from, I have no idea. But all I care about for 138 quid is if it turns on, works, and it functions, then I'm doing well, given that this is as low a price, if not lower, than a Taro gimbal, which is a very popular one out there. Again, equaling nearly, I would say, the Aero X-Craft when I was looking at other gimbals, the Taro. A lot of good reviews, but there are mounting problems on a Phantom, etc. So anyway, so these are the mounts that come with it. Bit of a pain in the backside because I don't have the carbon spars, so I'm going to have to figure out a way of mounting it when it goes on here. But for the time being, it's just a case of building it up, which I will do in a moment. Let's see what the instruction manual is like. Somewhat small, but there is a bit of English in there. Inverted installation. Oh yeah, this is the other thing that I wanted to mention. On the control board, quite importantly, you will see, hopefully you will see that, there is an up and down button. And the brilliant thing about this is that even when it's not mounted on an RC device, you are able to tilt the camera up and down. That is something that you cannot, as far as I'm aware, do without an RC, without plugging it into the RX of an RC device on pretty much any of the gimbals for the GoPro. Certainly Aero X-Craft, Taro, Aris, none of those have a manual button, so this will actually do the tilt. So looking at the Zenmuse, if I press that button, it will go down and up. There's also an input on the side of it which allows you to do that via a channel on your RC, which is good, so I can do it in flight. Videos I've seen, the tilt isn't quite as quick as the Zenmuse. I do like the tilt mode. I've got it on my Futaba T8J programmed in, so I can actually tilt it down. But that's a nice little feature. So if I build myself a little rig, a little handheld rig, I'm going to be able to actually adjust the up and down should I wish to. You know, if for example I'm standing I don't know, maybe you're at a gig or something like that and you're low down, you've got the stage above you, what would be nice to do is to have a nice steady shot, but you'll be able to pan it up slightly so you can hold it at an angle that's not causing you to tilt all over the place. So soldering joints don't look too bad, nothing too complicated. The other thing to notice, as the American reviews state, is that this is the control board, or not, as the case may be. The control board itself for the gimbal is inside there. It's actually mounted to, I believe, this back motor, so it's housed in there. So it's pretty neat, to be fair. So before we go any further, I'll take a quick look at the instructions. I'm not going to be building this in front of the camera because frankly I prefer to concentrate on it, and it doesn't look too complicated to put together. Dimensions, which are quite useful, various voltage. This can plug directly into a 2S to 4S LiPo, says it right there, which is good. So again, a handheld mount. All I need to do is get myself a nice little 2S, and we're in business. So okay, so the only other thing I will do whilst I've got this camera in front of me is get my trusty crappy cheap scales out, and let's find out when we put the parts together. Right, there we go. Now for some reason, let's go for a bit of accuracy. Thank you. Right, so 134 grams, that's just the motors. We're then also of course going to have the board, 146 grams, that's gone up to top board, 154. Going to have this aluminium bracket, 166. We're going to be attaching the GoPro via that, and just for good measure, I'll just leave it in the bag for now, 182 grams, so a couple of screws, launch them on there, and well, 4 dampers, of which there's 8 in there, so everything actually a little bit heavier than it should be. We've got 188 grams, so 75 grams for the GoPro on top of that, so it's a middleweight kind of gimbal, fairly heavy, in fact heavier than the Zenmuse definitely, but then again what isn't, but given the fact that you can actually use this off the craft, potentially, if it even turns on, this will be good. So right, off with the camera now, onto the build, and next thing you'll see is it fully constructed hopefully.